Jajamän! Hallå där hörni och välkomna tillbaka till en till reaktionsvideo. Idag ska vi ta och djupdyka. Nej, vi ska dyka in i världsrekord inom fotbollen. 10 världsrekord som man inte kommer kunna slå. Eller ta nytt rekord. Fan vet jag. Lämna en like på videon. Det ska bli sjukt intressant att se vad som händer här faktiskt. Jag har inte så jättebra koll. Jag vet att Ederson, alltså målvakten i City, har typ den längsta utsparken och sådana saker liksom. Så det är intressant. Hoppas vi får en helt jävla sjukt rekord i den här videon. Messi och Ronaldo lär jag ha något också, något jävla sjukt. Ska lyssna lite bättre. Pele. Vad han för rekord? Det är antal mål. Men helt ärligt nu, Pelé spelar väl mot liksom tandläkare och sjukgymnaster och idrottslärare och fan vet jag. Svårt att ha koll på Pelés mål och sånt där. Det var väl någon grej att han la till mål eller vad fan det var. Ja, det känns lite så här. Man ska dock inte ta någonting ifrån honom. Ronaldo har mer än Messi alltså. Inte mycket då, men det är helt sjukt mycket mål de har gjort. Fattar ni alltså att när de har gjort de här jävla över 800 målgester har de gjort.
Brazilians tally. And guess what? That won't happen because Messi and Ronaldo are past their mid-30s and will be hanging up their boots very soon.
Fatta dem om liksom 20 år.
Informed teams in the world should forget about breaking is AC Milan's 58-game unbeaten streak.
58 matcher. Obesegrade Milan. What the fuck?
When they bulldozed their way through anyone who stood in their way, including their most bitter rivals, Inter Milan. During AC's unbeaten streak, they won a total of 42 matches and drew 16 of them. And considering the fact that the boys in red and black were impossible to beat at the time, a draw must have felt like a win for the opposition team. Next on our list is Edwin van der Sar, who set an unreachable standard for keeping clean sheets by going a full 1,311 minutes without conceding a goal. His legendary form ran through 14 hard-fought matches
14 matcher utan att släppa in ett mål i rad. Men det känns som om det är något rekord hittills i alla fall, så det är väl det de kan besegra. Det känns mer doable att göra där än att göra 1200 mål till exempel.
Bukayo Saka are banging in the goals. It'll be hard for Van der Sar's record to be broken. Not in the English Premier League at least. Speaking of impossible, Gerd Müller once thought his 40-year-old record of scoring 85 goals in a calendar year was never going to be broken. Not until 2012 when Lionel Messi literally kicked the German record into pieces with his iconic left foot. Messi was simply unstoppable that year.
Messi är helt otrolig alltså. En dålig säsong på honom var typ 40 mål på kalenderåret.
Argentina.
91 mål var det va?
Looking for Messi. Oh! His 91 goals included 12 for the national team and a mind-blowing 79 for Barcelona.
Helt jävla otroligt
Ronaldo was the only player at the time who would have attempted to break Messi's record, but unfortunately, he was busy missing around 130 shots at goal that same year. Now, Messi can brag about scoring the most goals in a calendar year, but French striker Just Fontaine can brag about scoring the most goals in a single World Cup tournament. And that's because he's subscribed to our channel. So what are you waiting for, man? Click it. What Fontaine did at the 1958 World Cup was simply impossible. I mean, how can one player score as many as 13 goals in very few world possible? I mean, how can one player score as many as 13 goals in very few World Cup matches? If you care to count, then pull out your calculators right now. Fontaine scored 4 goals in his first match against Paraguay, then 3 goals against Yugoslavia, 2 more against Scotland, 1 against Northern Ireland, and 3 more against West Germany. Pele, who played in as many as 4 World Cups, could match Fontaine's goal scoring per tournament. So what makes you think Haaland, Ronaldo, or Messi will? Speaking of Messi again, do you know that no other player in football history has won as many as 7 Ballon d'Ors? Even his closest rival, Cristiano Ronaldo, has only managed to win 5. The scariest part is, Messi needed just 13 years of his professional career to stack them all up. Let's not forget
de kommande åren, det känns nu på förhand kommer vara Vinicius Junior, Haaland, Bellingham, Mbappé. Typ de 4 ser jag liksom så här, de skulle lätt kunna kriga om den jävla Ballon d'Or allihopa. Nej, jag tror inte att man kommer få 8 eller 9 Ballon d'Or.
Ballon d'Or is the most prestigious individual award in football, and only the best players in the world can get their hands on it. Now, think about the number of exceptional footballers who have played their hearts out but still failed to win just one. Neymar, Mbappe, Wesley Sneijder, Thierry Henry, Frank Lampard, and Robert Lewandowski all know how painful it is to narrowly miss out on the award. That's a pain Messi cannot feel, and I'm sure he doesn't mind adding an 8th Ballon d'Or.
Känns ju inte alls som samma sak som det var förr, till exempel när Messi har vunnit tidigare år och sånt där. Nu är det liksom läckt på förhand vem som vann, läckt på förhand hur ordningen var och sånt. Det är inte alls samma hype och grej längre.
Collection, as he's the favorite to win the 2023 edition, thanks to his outstanding play at the 2022 World Cup, which he won with Argentina. If he wins, then his new record of 8 Ballon d'Ors will surely be impossible to break. At number 4, we have a man who doesn't understand the meaning of the word impossible. I'm talking about one of the greatest yet most unpopular coaches in the world. His name is Brian Clough, the man who led Nottingham Forest to 2 successive European Cup wins. Just so the new generation of football fans can catch on quickly, the European Cup was what the Champions League was called back in the day. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, do you know how difficult, or should I say impossible, it is to win such a competition with a team as small as Nottingham Forest? It's like watching Queen's Park Rangers run through the likes of
Nottingham Forest var väl lite bättre än vad QPR är till exempel idag. Det är inte som att QPR skulle gå och vinna Champions League idag. Jag tror att de har lite högre status.
PSG, Bayern Munich, Manchester City, Real Madrid, and Barcelona to win this season's Champions League. Well, that's exactly what Brian Clough did with Nottingham Forest when they triumphed at the 1979 and 1980 European Cups. Trust me when I say, even the best coaches of today will not accept such a challenge. I don't care how tactically sound Pep Guardiola is. I don't care how experienced Carlo Ancelotti is. But you can bet your last buck that they cannot lead Nottingham Forest to 1 Champions League victory, let alone 2. Now, what makes Clough's record with Nottingham Forest so remarkable is that the club had never won the European Cup before he arrived. Fast forward to 2023, and they haven't even come close. Clough had no big-name players, neither did he have a huge budget, yet somehow, some way, he did it. Another football record that will be extremely difficult to break is Kylian Mbappe's record of being the youngest player to score 100 goals in the French Ligue 1. The French talisman was only 22 years.
Var han 22 när han hade uppnått 100 mål i franska ligan?
And 357 days old when he scored 2 goals in PSG's 2-0 win against Monaco, which ironically was Mbappe's former club. Now consider the fact that the older, more experienced strikers in the French Ligue 1 struggle to hit 50 goals. This makes Mbappe's record even more immortal. The French league aside, a 19-year-old Mbappe
det kommer säkert komma någon att kunna besegra där. Jag tror det.
Also became one of the youngest players to win a FIFA World Cup. He's also the youngest player to score a hat trick in the final. Mbappe is still a young lad, and even though he's achieved a lot in football, he was very unlucky not to win the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, as his French team fell to Messi's Argentina in the
Martinez guldfot, räddningen.
Final, in which he also scored. Our next football record is very strange, and you might never see it happen again. Have you ever seen a single club hold both the Europa League trophy and the Champions League trophy at the
2012, Chelsea vann Champions League mot alla jävla odds för fan. Det var kaos med tränare också. Det märker man med tanke på hur gick ligan och hur gick året därpå. 2013 var man i Champions League, kom 3 i gruppen, åkte till Europa League då. Man går och vinner Europa League.
At the same time, well, Chelsea became the first and only team to do so when they won the 2013 Europa League.
Det är dock ingen jävla flex att man vinner Europa League, vann Champions League första året, sen vinner Europa League. Det är bara tecken på att man fan är sämst alltså. Där är Nathan Ake, kung.
how it happened. Chelsea won the Champions League in 2012, and in the next edition, they got booted out of the group stages and into the Europa League. They went on to win the final of the Europa League, which was played on May 15, 2013. At this time, the Champions League final was to be played on May 25, 2013, and since Chelsea were the last winners, it means they were both the Europa League champions and still the Champions League champions, at least for 10 more days. Quite a tricky record, and one that requires the exact same circumstances for another club to break. Speaking of clubs, there are no teams in the world that can match our #1 unbreakable football record. Have you ever seen a referee give out as many as 36 red cards in a single match? It sounds impossible, but it's true. It all started when a brawl broke out in a match between Victoriano Arenas
det här måste ha hänt också, att det har blivit fight på planen och hela hela bänken och sånt involverat, men man kanske inte ger kort.
FC in 2011. Yeah, I know, you've never heard of these clubs before, but that's because they're far down the pecking order of Argentinian football. Anyway, all 22 players and 14 substitutes got involved in the fight, and the referee had no choice but to send them all off. He flashed his red card wildly at all the players, but that did
fan ska man rapportera det här till förbundet liksom? 36 röda kort.
Now,
vilka fan ska spela nästa match då i de här jävla lagen?
Is one record that will be impossible to break. Even if you swung at it.
Jag tror inte att det där kommer att bli besegrat någon jävla gång alltså. Intressant jävla video alltså. Jag tycker det är skitkul att följa sånt här, att lära sig mer om fotbollen och bli lite uppdaterad och påminna om vad som händer och vilka rekord som finns och så. Hoppas ni tycker samma sak, fan. Lämna en like på videon. Annars så syns vi imorgon igen med till ny